The purpose of this show is to guide you to realign with habits that get you to live the life you've always dreamed of. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with Jesse Ewing. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle, where you can access your full potential right now. Finally break free from destructive habits. That dream life, if you want it, you can have it. This is where you transform your health, mind, business, and relationships. Or do nothing and keep your life the way it is. But if you're ready for change, you're in the right place. This is where you're gonna learn how to live a habit-based lifestyle. You are tuning in to the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with your host, Jesse Ewing. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle. Let's go.
I don't know if it was number one that showed up was the network marketers was how to find leaders.
How to what?
How to find leaders.
Oh, how to find
Leaders in their business. That came up a lot. A lot of people was connections. How to find connections.
Is this the same thing?
No. So it was like how to find leaders. So like the network marketers all said how to find leaders, like, which, I mean, really the topic could be leadership, because a lot of these people don't know how to be leaders, and that's what they said, right? I don't know how to manage all the things. So leadership was a question, I guess would be better to say that. How to find new connections.
And is this for network marketers, or is this for?
I mean, even some of the chiropractors can't find associates, which would be the same type of thing as not finding leaders, right? So it's really
how to find a team or build a team.
Yeah, how to find a team, how to build a team. No, connections meaning new leads. Like they know how to find leads.
Oh, new leads.
The amount of people that told me that.
And then this one would be team. How to find.
Yeah, so probably time management, leadership and team, leads. I mean, one of these had 80 questions, 80 answers.
Okay, so three. Hold on one sec. So 3 would be marketing.
Yeah, marketing.
So all I'm doing is, see what I'm doing is I'm building out a framework for you and your program.
That's what my program is.
I know, but what we're going to do is then start getting diving deeper into specific problems.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the 4th one?
It would be like mindset, because it was confidence, motivation, focus.
Okay, so hold on. Confidence.
Valuing myself enough to charge money, putting myself out there without being knocked down, fear of failure. I mean, just mindset. Hold on, there was a bunch more. Moving through fear, which is funny because my old coaching that I did was called Shed Your Shit and Shine, where I just help people like work through all this stuff that holds them back. Anyways.
Okay, so every week for the next 4 weeks, you're going to stick on one topic for that week. So time management, maybe this week or whatever one you felt like was the one that everybody was talking about. Then you push, this is your personal profile, your Facebook group. So our goal would be maybe to do a training this week in your Facebook group, or have a guest or both in there. Our goal would be to do engagement questions, maybe a video on what people said, long copy, story, and then our ask would be into our group to watch this training.
Mm-hmm.
And then in our group would be the ask on Friday to step into a conversation or a discovery call.
Okay.
So then the next week is, how do I build a team? And that's like my leadership. Leadership is really the theme that week. And then we can spin it off a lot of different ways, right? Whether you own a chiropractic office, How do I find an associate? How do I find a team? Well, number one thing you got to understand is before you do any of that, you better have some systems in place if you want to lead people, because
Right.
you can't just bring people on your team and then have them not doing shit, right? Or not being able to do anything. So that's where we go with that. And then we would go into how do I find connections, which is just marketing. Everybody wants to know how to market, right? But nobody has a system on how to do it. Everybody gives you ideas, but no one actually has a predictable way of doing it.
Yeah.
Okay. Then the last piece, which you go week 4, is you just start talking about mindset. So whether it be confidence, value, judgment, fear of failure, fear of success. What's actually crazy is I find fear of success is actually comes up more than fear of failure.
Especially in New Zealand, it's huge because we have what's called tall poppy. So yeah, it's on my team, like with my leaders and leaders, a lot of people I attract, it's New Zealanders are very afraid to be successful because they'll cut you down if you raise too high. So it's like super high in my world.
It's in any business world, because here's why. We all have stories. So here's what I've noticed, right? If I create a certain level of success, then that means I got to work that much harder if I want more success. And most people aren't willing to work harder, that much harder, or at least that's what they tell themselves. So then they back off when they experience some success.
Yeah.
The other thing is too, is it's a lot easier to build from bad to good than it is from good to great. Because, bad is like, well, shit, wasn't doing anything, right? So now I'm doing good. Well, then I just continue that cycle. Okay. So fear of success is just as big as fear of failure. But again, it's all based off fear, future based, thinking.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So everything has a theme for the week. That's the easiest thing I can tell you guys to start with where you guys are at, is start having kind of like a theme off of your pillars for the week, so that way you can have, and then you can dive deeper. So we go through this 4 weeks and you may realize that, hey, part of that time management is like people just don't know how to set up their week. They don't know how to set up their days. And so I dive deeper into understanding what they're really struggling with. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So don't go message any of them or anything like that. Just,
I mean, if they gave you something worthy of messaging them,
a couple of them did.
you could come back around and be like, hey, I just dropped a video on time management. I know that was something you talked about. Would love to have you watch it, and then would love to hear your feedback.
Well, I already did that because I have a time management video. So if they mentioned that, I said, hey, I'll go tag you in my video real quick. And then in the video, I said, hey, once you watch this, let me know. And then I'm going to go back and follow up with them. But I didn't know that's a really good way of doing it. So,
and then you could also say, like, let's say people want to get in a conversation. You could just be like, hey, like, tell me about time management. Like, what part of it do you struggle with? Is it, when to do it? Is it, are you even doing anything, or like what's going on? And then you could dive deeper into that, and then you create a training for it. Like all I did with Rebecca was say, listen, go to your target audience and go ask them what they want, and then create content that's around that. I mean, that's the simplest way to do it. You're already talking to tons of people, so just ask them to go a little bit deeper into it, and then they'll tell you.
because for me, I feel more comfortable messaging people once I know a little bit more about them. Does that make sense? Than I do cold messaging. I'm working on it, and I'm working on learning more about them. But it's also, I think, my personality. Like I don't really, I mean, I'm more introverted than people realize, but like them keeping up and going back and talking to them like 2 days later, it feels very awkward to me. So like why I like that I've asked these questions is I feel more confident talking to these people. Does that
But
make
if you
sense?
drop a training on it, you're like, hey, I just dropped a training on, time management. Would you like access to it? Or would you like me to tag you in it? And then they're like, yeah. And then you can go back. Now you have a window to be like, hey, curious, did you get to watch it? What did you think about it?
That's what I'm saying. This feels better for me. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
So this is what we do on everything.
Right. But I'm saying like the people I don't know, because I have like 6 trainings in there, but when it's someone that I just cold message, I think this is just I think I'm saying this is a good way for me to segue into doing more messaging. This
And
feels less
you could
scary.
also say like, hey, curious, which one of these areas are you interested in learning about? You could say time management, leadership, marketing, or, mindset. And then they tell you, and then you can direct them on where to go.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Does
Okay.
make sense.
Cool. Is that both questions?
Yeah. I think I don't know.
You
What do
said
I
you
do?
had two. You
Yeah, I
only
think it's like I don't remember now, but I think it was like, do I message them and what do I do with them?
Yeah,
So
so I always build my trainings. So like what you'll see is this week we're like overthinking. Not that's our subject, but that's not like what we're doing. But yeah, so everything is going to be around overthinking this week, and then we'll drive it into something else. And then on my group, we're kind of integrating some lifestyle stuff in between, and so we're going to play with that back and forth for the week and see what happens. I like that. I like that pouty face example. That was good.
cool.
All right, so we got it. Tasha,
Okay.
what do you got? Something you want to go over, right?
I do, and I'm actually jumping on the call with him in like 10 minutes. So we'll just do.
Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, just basically, he reached out. I don't know the whole scenario. It's kind of a discovery call for both of us, but in regards to just potentially adding me as one of the not trainers, but I mean, coming in with the piece that I coach and consult on,
So what would that look like, or do you even know?
I don't even know. It's kind of something that just showed up. And
how many people are in their group?
I don't know. I don't know anything.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't know
nice.
anything.
Okay.
And so, I mean, I'm literally coming into this kind of blind. So I've got that. And then also the doctor I interned under right before he passed, he graced me with, he used to have a course called Taking Care of People. And I kind of subsidized it, Taking Care of You, as based off of that. But there's been some people reach out and he had said that he would like me to pass on his work. And so really, I don't know, just sitting with that to really addressing back with his partner, like what, I don't know if I want to totally. I do. I've got two docs that would do it with me. So it's just, again, it's just being open to all the different opportunities, right? Of, and where I need to be guided.
Okay. So you have opportunities coming up.
Yes.
Okay. So here's the one question I always like to ask people. Guess what it is? What do you want? Like,
well, yeah.
What is Tasha? Okay. So what do you want in business? So, and you don't have to answer this right now, but and what do you want in life? And if these opportunities give you that, then it makes it really simple, right?
Yeah.
But if they don't, then you just kind of walk away and you're like, hey, thank you so much for the offer, but I just don't think this is the right fit for me right now. I'd love to revisit this in 6 months, but like where I'm at today, it's just not a good fit.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I have people like approach me a lot.
Yes.
I'm probably worse. I'm probably really bad at it because I'm just like, no. And they're like, well, what do you mean? No. And I'm like, no. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, N-O. And I could probably get better at my delivery on that, but like, I know what I want. Right.
Right.
So I'm very rigid and just saying like, listen, it's a yes or no.
Right.
It's, and so for you is like, a lot of times, like I've been offered some really cool things and I've said no because they didn't line up with what I wanted.
Right.
And so, same thing for you is get clear on what you want first for you, your daughter, your family, your life. What do you want that to look like? And then it's kind of simple, like, hey, does this opportunity give me what I want in my life and in my business? If it does, then we can start talking about details
Okay.
of what that would look like for you,
Right.
But if it doesn't, then it just kind of doesn't really make sense. You know what I mean? Like we want to talk about
black and white.
details. Like, hey, how do I figure this out? Well, first we need to figure out, what do you want?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep. It makes sense. I mean, and really
Because
just making sure it's alignment.
here's what'll happen. If I'm not clear about what I want, every person who comes at me, every opportunity that comes at me, guess where I'm going to go?
You're going to detour.
Like my
Yes.
arms this way, my
Yes.
head's this way, my legs back this way, and my heart's getting pulled this way. And I'm like, shit. At the end of the day, I'm not doing anything other than entertaining all these ideas, and I'm
Right.
not building forward to what I really want.
Right. I 100% agree. So just really make sure and listening what they're talking about, if it stays in alignment with where I'm headed in my business and where I want it to go.
Okay, so here's what I would work on.
Okay.
Before you ever get on a call with a
Yes.
business opportunity, get clear on what you want
Okay.
for yourself, what you want for them, and then what you want for each other. Okay. So, and then you can just build a framework around like, hey, here's what I want for me. Here's what I want for you. And here's what I want for each other. And
Okay.
it makes it so much easier to have a call, have a conversation than
Okay.
just kind of going into it talking, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Right. And that's kind of what I was. Yeah, definitely. And is there anything that you would, before I jump off here, anything that, should I just naturally let the conversation? Okay.
Ask questions
Mhm.
and just think of it like a discovery call if you were going to be wanting to know more about a client.
Okay.
Except this client isn't like a typical client. They're, a potential job thing, but it all
business
goes
thing.
back to the same thing.
Okay. All right. I'll make sure. I struggle with strings attached, but the opportunity to have, to get to, anyway, we'll see if it matches. So awesome.
What is working for them give you access to? That's what I would.
Okay. You may answer that or?
Well, that's what I would maybe say, like, hey, what is working for you or for this? Does that create other opportunities in the company?
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, you guys. It's great seeing y'all.
Yeah,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome.
Bye.
Good luck on your call.
Bye. Thank you.
The purpose of this show is to guide you to realign with habits that get you to live the life you've always dreamed of. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with Jesse